What you're about to hear is an excerpt from our weekly podcast, which you can find every single week on our Patreon page. You can support us for just $1 a month. That's patreon.com/prettygoodgaming.
I've been playing Dawn of War 3, so I played a lot of multiplayer in the beta, so I've kind of got a good picture of that, and I was just mainly been playing through the campaign, which is very good. It hasn't blown me away like Company of Heroes 2 and Dawn of War 2 did. It's just, I don't know, it feels like a refinement in many ways. It feels very much inspired by MOBAs, and they've got this balance of hero management and managing your soldiers, and you've got to balance your micro of the heroes like you would do in a MOBA, but you still got to pump out your soldiers. You've got a base to build, so it's cool. It's got a lot of ideas. It just feels light in some ways, and it's deliberate. They've done that on purpose to make it feel more like a MOBA and to get that, to learn lessons from a MOBA. They've got rid of the cover system that you had in Dawn of War 2 completely, right? But there's like these hard points, which are like just a circle of walls that you can put your soldiers into, and it effectively makes them invincible while they're in there until the shield is worn down or whatever. And the only way to get them out, or the only way to crack the nut, is by sending in melee units to go through the shield and beat them up. But I don't know, I've not found them useful, and so there's some decisions in terms of the design of the maps, and the idea that you will hold hard points is pretty cool. I quite like that. I quite like the idea that you can stack some units somewhere. They'll be pretty safe in there, and you can control that part of the battlefield with those units from that hard point. I like that idea, but the battle never passes that part of the map anyway. Like, once you've cleared through there, they're not going to counterattack you. There's not going to be, not in my experience. I'm about halfway through the campaign, so there's some things like that I think don't work as well. What I do like is the storytelling. I mean, it's Warhammer, so it's like, it's all apocalyptic, it's all completely overblown, and like, the Marines, the Blood Ravens are completely self-serious. They're really,
lots of "for the Emperor" shouting.
Yeah, it's cool, right? It's cool. I like that kind of shit. The way that their stories are each presented is quite cool. So the campaign, just to give you a quick rundown, it cycles through each race. So there's 3 races to play as. You've got the Eldar, the Blood Raven, Space Marines, and the Orcs, okay? But so then each mission is like Space Marine, Orcs, Eldar, Space Marine, Orcs, Eldar. So the campaign, you play from 3 perspectives. So and it's linear as well. So it's just one mission after the other. So that's, I like that. I like that's interesting. The first mission for each faction also has this incredible cutscene. It's really hard to describe. It's like a diorama, I suppose. There's a huge scene, incredibly vivid and chaotic, and then the camera just moves through it and pans through it really quickly. And it's very, it's slow moving. So it'll be like, there'll be soldiers, flying through the air with, like, I don't know, just blood splatter and stuff. But they'll be in motion, but very, very slowly. It's really effective, and the voiceover and everything is great. But then what I really like is the Orcs, because the Orcs are just the best in the Warhammer universe.
They're
all Cockneys, right?
Yeah.
And so the Eldar and the Space Marines are so self-serious. Okay, but they're in character. That's fine. And then the Orcs are just funny, and I like a good laugh. I'm a big fan of comedy in general. So if a game like Dawn of War can make me laugh, then it gets points, just on that basis alone. They work things into the mechanics with the Orcs that are brilliant, right? So there's a lot of the slang that the Orcs use are based, and even the names of the units are all like British terms, which is, I love that. So that's a good start. So there's Orcs called knobs and stuff like that, which is part of the lore. But there's gits, right?
You're even saying
git is like you don't want to be a git if you're an Orc. If an Orc's calling you a git, you're in trouble, right? So there's a device in one of the missions called a git tracker. So it tracks gits, right? So you're roaming around the map and you're looking for a git. Okay, you want to kill this git, right? But then after about 4 or 5 minutes of doing that, you realise that the git tracker is way off and it's tracking the wrong git, and the git is in your army, and then you're playing this. This micromanagement strategy game where you're killing units and stuff, and 2 of your Orcs are having a row in the middle of the mission. He's saying, he's tracking the wrong git. And then the soldier's going, I'm not a git. Of course you are. You're just the wrong git. I love that kind of shit. So I'm enjoying it, but it's not it's not as enthralling as the campaign that Company of Heroes 2 or the multiplayer of Company of Heroes 2 either, just based on my beta impressions, because you can't really get a multiplayer match yet.
Right.
So there is an open beta, or there was an open beta over the weekend. I don't know if it's still going on. So I've played a bit of that, and I played the closed beta a couple of weeks ago. So I've got a good impression now of the campaign and the multiplayer, and it's a good game. It's a good addition to the franchise. It's just not up there with as good as it has been, because Dawn of War 2 I loved Dawn of War 2, and Dawn of War had this sense of scale that was awesome. That's just, it's kind of there, but I don't know, it's just not quite the same.
Yeah, it seems
feeling.
like each one of the Dawn of War games, they're changing it up quite a bit.
Yeah, they are,
not
which is admirable.
It's admirable. It's brave. Yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain as someone that buys the games, like with Command and Conquer. You're expecting the same base building and stuff added, but with Dawn of War, they keep changing the whole style of gameplay, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's admirable, and if you're a fan of the lore, I'm sure that's good, but it seems like it could be...
I'm not that big a fan of the lore itself, but for the storytelling I really enjoy. It's silly. It's quite a plain, Warhammer story. Things that happen don't really surprise you, but I feel like it's giving you a good sense of the overall picture of the Warhammer universe. It's taking you span through all these different locations. Also, this one important point as well. A lot of the maps are kind of based on corridors, so it's not like big open plains like you get in some strategy games. It's all a series of corridors and avenues. A lot of the time, you'll be on top of buildings or on spaceships or on castle city walls or something like that, and then below you, in the distance, with kind of a haze of fog or whatever, you'll see massive battles taking place in the background, which really adds to it. And there's a lot of this chaotic voiceover and stuff, which is great. A lot of chatter from soldiers, which is really good. I think you'll enjoy playing the game if you're a fan of the lore. Unless there's some big missteps that it's made in terms of getting things wrong or something, which I wouldn't know about, but. Yeah, I think overall it's a good package, but just not as good as the previous installment or something like Company of Heroes 2, which obviously is a very similar.
Okay, so that's Dawn of War 3, and is it out yet? Is it coming out this week?
It's not. No, I don't know.
April
what the release date is,
April 28th, I think it is.
But
I think it's 27th.
27th, yeah, it's the end of this week. Yeah. So I mean, if you're a strategy fan, I've got to say it's probably. I feel warmer about this than I think Liam feels about Halo Wars 2. So if you're between two strategy games at the moment, go for Dawn of War. Lots of personality, and it's
great.
Which is great.
Okay, so thanks very much for joining us for the podcast excerpt this week. If you want to hear or watch the full podcast, then just head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. You should see some more content on your screens just now if you'd like to check out some more of our stuff, and there is the link to Patreon there if you'd like to support us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.